welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Oops, after GMS. Oops. It's that type of Friday.
Sorry, let me turn my volume down.
Oh, no worries. See, everybody just has something going on. All right, let's start over. Good morning and welcome to After GMS. It is Friday, September 9th. I'm Tracy McCain here with Christian Morgan and Megan Malaris.
And everything is perfect.
Nothing ever happened. At the start of the show, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, because I was just imitating my daughter's Southern accent. She's like, well, hello there. How are you doing? And so when I started to say hello, I was just like, well, and I was like, I got to pull this back. So that's really what happened. And
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, anything goes. Anything goes on After GMS. And apparently anything goes for the forecast because, wow, we've had everything this week. Unfortunately, the timing of the rain does not bode well for weekend plans.
No, it could be a little better on timing here, but enjoy today because it will be a nice day. And then there are changes in store for the weekend. Take a live look over the Piedmont right now. We have some sunshine coming out. Some clouds that were here earlier are clearing out as well. We're starting in the mid-60s for pretty much everybody across the board. Part of the reason it feels so good outside right now is this. Even though it's not a huge change, dew points are a few degrees cooler this morning than they were yesterday at this time. And every little bit makes a difference when we're talking about humidity. So that's why it feels so good outside today. And really, it's kind of a one-day break in that humidity. It will start to come back, though, as we go into the weekend. And we're going to start to bring the rain chances back into the weekend as well. So here's the plan for today. A partly sunny sky. We'll get it up to around 80 degrees this afternoon. Low humidity, and it should be a nice night for high school football across the Piedmont. Changes will start to happen, though, by the time you wake up on Saturday morning. That front that moved by earlier this week going to start to lift back to the north as a warm front. Also at the same time, an area of low pressure will be tracking our way from Florida and out of the Gulf of Mexico. It will be loaded with tropical moisture. So what you're looking at here is our deep moisture forecast, or really the content of moisture that's in the atmosphere. And really what I want you to focus on is that big plume of dark orange and brown that you see over North Carolina, South Carolina, and really all across the southeast. That is just lending itself to meaning we have a lot of moisture to wring out of the atmosphere. So let's go forward here in time and show you what happens overnight going into your Saturday morning. We will start to see the clouds increasing. By the time you get up, we'll likely have some light rain across the area. By the time we get into the middle of the day, into the afternoon, those rounds or pockets of heavy rain will be moving in. Now, it's not going to rain all the time everywhere continuous. It hardly ever happens that way. But we'll have these rounds of downpours, tropical downpours in nature, and some of that could lend itself to some flash flooding in the foothills and up into the mountains. In between those bands or pockets of rain, we'll likely have some mist and have some drizzle to deal with as well. Also, I think our foothills have a pretty significant risk of some flash flooding up that way this weekend, just because we are expecting a pretty good amount of rain. So I'd make sure the umbrellas are in good working order. It will be a soggy few days starting tomorrow into your Sunday and into your Monday too. A lot cooler tomorrow too. And if it starts to rain early enough, this is one caveat to your forecast. I've got 73 on the map for your Saturday, but if it starts to rain early enough, we could see our temperatures hold in the upper 60s all day long. So just a little bit of transparency there for you. Around our area, I think 1 to 2 inches generally is possible over the course of the weekend and Monday for rainfall. Maybe a little more than that, 2 to 3 inches, maybe some areas of 4 inches of rain in western North Carolina over the weekend. And as you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to cause problems in those higher elevations. Meanwhile, quick check on the tropics. We have Earl. We have another area with 40% chance of development and another area off the coast of Africa that likely will not do anything over the next few days. Earl is moving away from the island of Bermuda, just to the east-northeast of it right now, and it will strengthen up, likely becoming a Category 3 storm before it's all said and done. It will start to dissipate well off to our north and east over the course of the weekend. And even though we're not expecting any direct impacts here, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be some rip currents at the coast this weekend, along with some higher surf. And it'll be raining too, so just not a good beach weekend either. By the middle of next week, though, we'll start to dry it out again, get another shot of lower humidity in here, and we'll see our temperatures return to the low 80s, low humidity. I think that's all right, y'all.
That is just fine. I love it. All right, a lot of people have plans this weekend. Rhonda, by the way, said it's a good weekend to stay in and cook some comfort food.
Good football weekend.
Good football weekend. We do have the game here on WFMY News too, so that'll be good as well. Of course, everyone right now, though, talking about the death of Queen Elizabeth II. she resonated with so many people around the world. And after more than 70 years on the throne, she died yesterday at age 96.
What a life.
Full of a great life. She had her children by her side at her home in Scotland when she died. So the nation is going to begin this period of mourning, which will last at least 2 weeks. And her son, King Charles III, has now taken over the throne.
We're asking you here on our feed. It's kind of an open-ended discussion, question. What are some of your favorite moments of Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign? What did you love most about her? While you comment, let's talk about the Queen's ties to North Carolina. Did you know the Queen watched her first football game on a visit to our state in 1957? It just so happened to be the North Carolina Tar Heels against the Maryland Terrapins.
At Roanoke Island sits the Elizabeth II ship, modeled after a 16th century sailing vessel and named after the British monarch. So again, we want you to really just put in some of your comments, your memories, maybe condolences to the family who are now responding to Operation London Bridge, which really lays out the succession and the funeral arrangements for Queen Elizabeth, and actually really any monarch in the royal family. I think mine is just really her grace over the year, not to mention her style. She wore some great clothes. I mean, obviously had wonderful connections to some amazing designers, but her hats, I've always felt, I'd see her more in hats than the crowns, you know? And I think it just became part of her signature style. Then there's also, you know, just what she did, you know, for the country during times of war and times of difficulty. She really led her country, her people at a really young age. Can you imagine ascending to the throne at 25 years old?
No.
What were you doing at 25?
Not that.
Exactly.
And it was by chance, too. I mean, really fascinating how this all transpired, because her uncle decided to abdicate to Mary Wallace Simpson. And then her father, who was the second son, took the throne. And upon his passing, he did not have any sons. It was the Queen and her sister Margaret. And because Queen Elizabeth is older, she was the heir. And who knew at that time it would be a 70-year incredible reign that she had. I admire her love for her people. It was so apparent from the time she was 25. I admire her work ethic, her tireless work ethic. You know, I think people mischaracterize the royal family as not doing anything, being there in symbol only, and that's just not true. They have engagement after engagement. For the Queen, she met with world leaders. She was one of the most traveled people in the world over her time. But even going back to age 25, when she first volunteered in World War II as a mechanic, up until this past week, when just on Tuesday, in fact, her last pictures of her, she appointed the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. It was amazing. She was devoted, she took her job seriously, and she did it day in and day out.
Yeah, wow. Really, really amazing legacy. I saw this quote yesterday. I had to find out while you guys were talking because I wanted to get it exactly right.
Okay, good.
But I really love this. It said, throughout, this is a quote from her. She said, throughout my life, the message and teachings of Christ have been my guide, and in them I find hope. She actually made that quote on August 3rd. So, you know, a month ago. A month ago. So I really thought that was a special quote and really just kind of encapsulated, you know, what she was about, you know, how she lived her life, and really, what an amazing legacy. And I also find it interesting, you know, you talk about being on the throne for 70 years. Well, she was the queen, you know, when my parents were born.
Right.
All throughout my parents' lifetime.
Most of us don't remember a time without her being on the throne. I mean, she's 96 years old. So unless you're 97, you know, you don't remember a time, unless you're like 71, you know, you don't remember a time without her being on the throne. I feel as though what you were saying about her faith leading her principles, I just love that because I have that same connection with her. And, you know, she was good friends with Reverend Graham, who of course has North Carolina ties and was a North Carolinian. And they spent a lot of time together talking about passages from the Bible. And he has a really great quote on our website about that experience that I was touched by this morning too.
Some really amazing pictures I think you can find on our website too of that.
Yeah, those two became lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And he was really a faith fixture in her life. We've not mentioned this morning, but we talked a lot about it when Prince Philip died last year. Their love story. I mean, they were married 73 years, and just before the time she took the throne, he was by her side throughout that whole journey, through all the ups and downs, both professionally and personally for both of them. They got through it together, and their story in itself is just incredible.
Yeah, a true love story.
Yeah.
And you know, her story kind of resembles Queen Victoria in a way.
Her great-great-great-grandmother.
Yes, exactly. Where, you know, she wasn't necessarily destined to be on the throne either, and she ended up marrying Prince Albert, and didn't really want to, I think, at the time, but you know, decided okay, we're gonna get married, and they fell in love, and she lived a long life. I think she died close to 100 years old as well. And you know, she and her husband really ruled together, and I felt like the same thing with Queen Elizabeth and her husband as well, before his death, of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
We've
sorry.
heard from a lot of, no, that was, I mean, beautifully said. Her love, of course, is what a lot of you are commenting about. Her smile, she was smiling in that last photo, the last public photo of her by the fireplace just this week. She was smiling, she was engaged, she was excited to be doing what she was doing to put her country before anything else. Bobby said she loved everyone unconditionally. And I have to mention, not only in the UK, but also her Commonwealth realms as well. She visited those countries, those nations. She listened to what the people wanted, and in many cases turned power back over to the people, because that was important to her.
Right, and very visible. You know, she wanted to be in the streets of London, and before, you know, it would occasionally go out to the front steps of Buckingham Palace and, you know, wave. And I feel like, you know, that's kind of what you want when you're talking about, you know, the symbol for your country.
Of course you do.
Yeah. All right, so of course a lot of you are continuing to share your thoughts and your condolences with the royal family, and we continue to you know, pray for them as they have this 10-day period of mourning.
Sure do.
All right, we will get to some of our other morning headlines right now. There are scanners, body scanners, being used at all Guilford County school football games starting tonight, because of several fights that broke out after last Friday's match with Dudley. GCS says it already was planning to beef up security even before the situation at Dudley, so this is not a direct response to that. By the way, those fights are still under investigation. One juvenile faces charges. This weekend, we remember, in fact, we never forget what happened 21 years ago, September 11th, 2001. The terror attacks in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people died on that terrible day. Flight attendant Sandy Bradshaw will be remembered this weekend with a patriotic service at West Bend Church on Albemarle Road in Asheboro. Remember, Bradshaw is from the Triad, from Randolph County. She was a flight attendant on Flight 93, which crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, as passengers overtook the cockpit, ultimately preventing that plane from getting to its final destination, believed to be the U.S. Capitol. So there is a memorial service for her, a breakfast starting at 9 o'clock on Sunday, followed by a service at 10. Greensboro will hold its annual 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb this Saturday at the Belmead parking deck. Registration starts at 7:30 for the climb at 9 a.m.
I want to show you an updated look at the COVID spread map. It looks a lot better than it did last week. This was what it looked like last week, where there was a lot of orange indicating the highest level of spread. The new map is a lot of green, the lowest level across the state, but especially in the Triad, where Guilford, Randolph, and Rockingham counties are all green. Forsyth County, if you'll notice, is still in the orange, and Alamance County is yellow. The North Carolina Folk Festival starts tonight in downtown Greensboro. Remember, it began in 2015, just a few years ago. The festival promises a weekend full of music, food, and art, showing appreciation for diverse traditions and communities. Various streets and parking areas are closed this weekend, so if you're heading downtown, make sure you leave some extra time to navigate around those changes.
All right, one more check on that forecast as you head out for your Friday. The sun coming up across the Piedmont. Any high clouds that we had over the Piedmont are starting to scatter out as we go into the mid-morning hours. Nice day with sunshine, low humidity near 80. On and off rain, though, will be here throughout the weekend, so get the umbrellas ready. It'll be a soggy few days through Monday. Then we dry it out, a little less humid, nice again by Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, well, it has been a very interesting week here on the Good Morning Show. Not just weather-wise, but in terms of like all the different, news stories, but we've still managed to find moments to have fun.
We seem to always do that, don't we?
And laugh at ourselves.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we
So
do.
this is the best of GMS. We will see you Monday morning.
Have a good weekend.
I'm feeling good.
Hey, we're responsible for that.
You know what? When Tracy's happy, it's going to be a good day.
And what happens when I'm not happy?
It's still a good day.
All right, let's get the weather.
It's still a good day.
Weather.
I like how you
Whether
clean
you like it
that
or
up.
not. Yeah.
Stay on the job or quit. The new trend that's Sorry.
Take 3.
Sorry. I know that there's always competition between Apple, Android,
Yeah.
You're Apple.
I'm Apple.
All of you are Apple,
Team.
aren't you?
Apple, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a green bubble.
Yeah, I'm a green bubble.
Green
I'm
bubble.
Android. Yeah. I'm not even going
Don't
to
let her call
tell
you a green bubble.
A green bubble.
I've been called worse. But I tell you, I don't even want to let you know how old my phone is, okay? They're not even sending updates anymore.
It still has one of those antennas that he has to pull
That's
out.
not true.
It's
Listen,
still a flip phone.
I am not going to let you guys rag on my friend.
Dryer air is on the way.
Cheer, shout, scream all
Yeah,
about.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the applause.
Let's not all get rowdy at once.
I like this. Like, oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that drier and cooler air on the way, but it's being slow because Ed called it in on his cell phone.
That is pretty.
I even tried during the commercial break to have your
I
back.
gotta say, Christian Morgan, that was pretty good.
I've been sitting here waiting on that for a couple of minutes.
No high five. None. You're not going to support that.
We care about you.
Yeah.